Okay, our next speaker has lived and continues to live a very full life. He says his professional life has been split between 3 cities, Athens, Hong Kong and London. In his time, he's been the skipper of a yacht. He's been a free-fall parachute instructor. Clearly a man who's willing to boldly go places that I'm not willing to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the front, Robert Noble.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, tough times never last, but tough people do. The chairman stole my word because I think that is a bit glib. It is in fact the title of a book by Robert Schuller. Who's he? He's an American. He is a television evangelist. He made millions. He founded his own church. He fell out with everybody and he's now suing his own church for $5 million. But does that invalidate what he has to say? Perhaps not, because it reminds me of something that Churchill said. If you're going through hell, keep going. Both expressions presuppose that when we go through our particular tough times, we'll come out intact. I'm not so sure. There's another American. He was a World War II fighter pilot, one of the original Top Guns. He became a test pilot on fast jets and was selected to be on the space program. In fact, he was the first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong. It's his footprints that we remember in the moon dust with those little ripples. He came back to Earth with his team to great acclaim, but he was a shy man and he stepped aside. For him, you see, he'd done everything he could possibly do. He'd got to the top of the top tree. All he'd done was achieve and achieve and achieve over his particular tough times. And when he'd done all that, there was nothing to do. So he just faded away. Thereafter, the only time you saw his footprints was when he took his string bag down to the local shops and took it back home again with the bread, the milk, and the cheese. On this side of the Atlantic, the British Army's Special Forces are supposed to be amongst the best in the world. Some say the best. But they're not James Bond. They are above James Bond because what they do is real. They overcome tough tests of physicality, their mental strength, and their emotional strength. But when it's all over, when they leave the military, when the gates of the barracks close behind them, they become Mr. Joe Ordinary. The trouble is, they still think of themselves as this man. And that gap is a hard bridge to close. And if they can't do that, that can lead to depression. And depression can lead to suicide. In fact, they have a higher rate of suicide than the rest of us. They have no need anymore for what Shakespeare said was, summon up the blood, stiffen the sinews. They've done all the jobs, they've passed all the tests. There's nothing for them to do either. So they just fade away. In contrast, there's a small, frail woman, Mother Teresa. Now, this is not a discussion about the differences between men and women. It's about focus. My first 2 examples did do things for their country, going outwards. But essentially, it was about them and all their separate achievements that built them to the top of their professions. With Mother Teresa, it was always helping people. One person, a family, a village, a queue of people going on and on. But she did it. She started. A bowl of food, a bandage, a smile for a child. And she persisted. And she went on and on and on. The bowl of food became a feeding centre for thousands. The bandage became a hospital. And the smile for a child became a school. And still she kept on, multiplying her efforts, engaging help from everywhere. And she did this in the full knowledge that her tough times, all those people, would never end. And she did it with a toughness of the heart, the mind, and the soul. She, though, was not just tough in herself. She had something in her spirit which made her unbeatable.